States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. February 6th minutes. Do you guys have any changes?
Well, what happened was, last time Bob wasn't there, so we didn't vote on these three.
Because I wasn't at those.
Right.
So you got to vote for these.
Okay. I'll make a motion, we accept the February 6th, 11th, 26th, and,
No, just do those.
okay, you're there for the March.
Right.
Okay. I'll make that motion.
Aye.
Aye. March 5th. I don't have that here, but I looked at it already. Yep. I'll make a motion.
Second, Sean, correct?
Yep, I know it's three.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion that we approve the March 5th minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Committee on Aging, Gloria Maynard, would you like to present?
Would it be all right if she came and sat at the table with you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
I'm here to help.
Yeah.
I just got this hearing aid, but it's not working.
Can you hear us? We have to.
He'll deliver it for me.
Okay. Did you want to talk now about the Committee on Aging? or-
Did you want me to?
Sure, if you feel comfortable, yeah.
The Committee on Aging is a group of very interested people, newly elected members to this group, and we are moving forward with information for the townspeople, which we hope to get out probably by June 30th. It'll be a wonderful tool for our seniors, and we're hoping not just Club 60, but the whole town over 60s will get this information. We also have another group that we have, another committee, and they're doing the new bylaws. We're going to revamp the bylaws, which I think is a good idea. And the third committee is planning the picnic that we do for townwide. That group is doing that. And we've had better attendance at our meetings. It's much more encouraging than before.
Good, good. Congratulations and thank you for all your hard work. It's not easy rallying the troops for those things, as you guys both know. Good, good, good.
Thank you very much.
Could I just add one little thing? The information that the Committee on Aging is gathering, it's going to be put forward to the town in a 4-part fold-out pamphlet, so that it'll have all the, obviously, emergency numbers for people to get, but also different programs and how to get a hold of, such as energy assistance, nutrition.
It's going to be a wonderful tool if people use it. We're hoping they'll put it on their refrigerator so they have immediate access to it.
And like I mentioned before, if you guys need any help with layout or anything like that, I'd be more than willing to donate.
We're not at that point yet,
Okay.
but we know about your
Okay.
offer.
Okay.
Yeah, we're actually editing, there's so many different programs available. What we're trying to do is A, get the more local ones and the more important ones focused, and then give people an idea of where they can go to find out more about other programs also.
That's going to be great.
We went to the, I went to the Registrar of Voters, and they gave me a list of all of the people in town over 60.
Great.
The names, addresses, and so we'll be able to use that as a guide to who to get them to.
Here's Sean.
We
got Sean's.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Oh, first.
Not yet.
I think you'll all be happy with the allotments that we get from our budget. I think you'll be very happy with the end product.
Great. Well, thank you for all your diligence.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Mark.
For all those of you who are new to our meetings, we do have public comments in the beginning and the end now. So now is the first public comments, if anybody wants to say anything now or wait till the end.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm
Thank you.
gonna go now.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Have a good
Thank you.
night. Ed.
My name is Ed Munster, I live here in Haddam. It's my understanding that the budgets of many organizations in town that provide services to the town are under threat. Public health, Brandon Library, Fire Department, Haddam Ambulance Society, to name a few. I want you to know that I make annual contributions, donations to these and other organizations here in town. My donations are made with the intention to help these organizations be able to do things above and beyond what they get, support they get from the town of Haddam, and not intended to be used in lieu of what the town should be supporting. These contributions that different people make should not be a reason to cut back on the budgets of these organizations, because they get these free will contributions from people throughout this town. And I can, name a number of organizations that I think I'm concerned about. I've already mentioned them. Thank you.
Thank you. I do want to quickly answer that, and you guys, if you want to add something. We worked very diligently on this budget, countless hours scouring this. Nothing that we did ever was arbitrary. We really looked at the numbers, and we never would imagine taking money away from an organization. That was not the issue. There is a section of our charter that requires us to collect financial information, bank account information, and tax records of any group or corporation that we give more than $500 to. So we were trying to follow the letter of the law according to our town charter. And that's where the financial information came in. That financial, we would never have asked anybody to use their money for town purposes. So that was a little bit of a misunderstanding. There are some changes that are being made under some of the other departments, Haddam Public Health. And we spent, again, countless hours going through each department budget. And I feel confident of our decision. I don't know if you guys want to add anything?
There's no organization under any threat whatsoever, under any threat. So an inflammatory word like that, I think is unnecessary. And, we it has to be a zero-based budget. And we went over and made sure everybody had a zero-based budget going forward. And we put in a lot of time just to try to get it right. And there's no particular organization that was treated any different than any other organization. No budget treated any different than any other budget. And any information that was asked from any one organization was asked from all organizations. So there's no one targeted or threatened.
Anybody else?
Sure, yep. I'm Harlan Frederickson, live here in Higham. I'm also a member of the Board of Finance and not here in official capacity in that regard, but it kind of gives me a better understanding of the budget and the budget process. I'm here because I'm particularly concerned about the fact that you folks voted to quit paying the tipping fee, disposal fee, whatever you want to call it, for anyone in town who has a private trash pickup service. That funding has been in the budget for many, many, many years. That funding was voted and approved by the voters. It was part of the budget process that I, again, know very well last spring, and it was approved to be spent for this year. And I think the fact that you decided to make that change during this year, I understand it's effective the 1st of April. The fact that you decided to make that change the 1st of April, frankly, undermines the whole budget process. When people vote on a budget and they vote on it because there are things that are in there and things that aren't in there, and the Board of Finance works hard to maneuver all that around, and then when it's all said and done, The voters have their opportunity to say yes or no. They clearly said yes last year, and saying yes included paying that tipping fee. To then, I won't say arbitrarily, but to turn around and make that change mid-year, I think is just absolutely dead wrong. If you want to make that, if you want to propose that change for the 1st of July and go through the budget process, let the voters digest it and decide what the voters want to do, that's a different matter. And that, I would frankly still be opposed. I don't think it's a good change to make. I think the process that we have now is fair, but at least that would allow the voters to have a voice. The reason I'm opposed, the reason I don't think it's fair, is because the town currently, and as I understand it, will continue to pay this disposal fee or tipping fee for all the people who haul their trash to the transfer station. The people who have private pickup will not get that fee paid for. They'll have to pay for it out of their own pocket through whoever picks up their trash. So in essence, the taxpayer who has private pickup is through his tax dollar paying for the disposal of half of the town who goes to the transfer station. And he's also paying for his own disposal out of his other pocket, if you would, by having to pay the private hauler. So it's just it was a bad decision in general and a particularly ill-timed decision.
Okay, I do have a couple of things to respond. The voters
If we're
did,
going to have that as a topic, there might be people that have comments about other things, because we're going to do that.
yeah, we can talk about
We
that
have
at
it
the
on
end
the
if you want,
agenda.
but I
No,
did,
not the
yeah.
end, we have it on the
I'm
agenda.
happy, I know it's on the agenda.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to wait to let you
I don't
address
have
it
anybody
in a
else
lot of
off.
fashion at that time.
If no one has
That's what you
another
prefer.
topic.
Okay.
I plan on staying for that.
Okay, does anybody else have anything other than the tipping fee issue? Okay, I do want to add just, or respond to a couple of quick things before I forget. The voters actually did choose already 6-1 for the transfer station over private hauling. That was the
Thank you.
choice back in 2011.
No, the voters did not, the voters, when they passed the budget
Right.
9 months ago, 10 months ago, there was money in there for the private pickup people to have their disposal fee, the tipping fee paid for. That money is in this year's budget. The voters approved this year's budget, has nothing to do with the transfer station back in 2011.
Yeah.
Totally different subject.
But actually, now that you brought it up, the voters voted on the bottom line for the MSW tipping fee. It's the policy of the Board of Selectmen that we can change that fee, change that policy at any point. Because you've appropriated a certain amount of money, $107,000 for private pickup, which is the appropriation for the 2 private haulers in town, does not mean that the Board of Selectmen has to spend that money. We do have the right to change policies at any point during the year and not spend the money that has been appropriated through changing policies.
And if I could comment on that,
Sure.
I think that's an incredibly dangerous precedent to set, because that means when I vote for the budget this spring, when the budget's up for vote, I have no idea what I'm gonna get. Because middle of the year, you're gonna say, geez, changed our mind, I know you voted to approve this because this was in here, but nah, we're not gonna do it. Incredibly dangerous precedent to set, and I don't think it's ever been done by other boards before. This
So
is a new
you're
policy.
opposed to saving money then?
Let's talk about saving money, okay? I understand, you just said, what, $107,000 or 100?
$107,000 for the
Okay.
private haulers.
So $107,000 for private haulers. I think I'm a pretty average taxpayer. I don't live in a particularly fancy house or anything. I think I'm probably typical of most people in town. That $107,000 is going to save me about $30 a year in my tax bill. Okay? My trash hauling bill, because the fee didn't disappear, you didn't save any money. CRA is not going to dispose of the trash for free. We all know that. Their fees remained exactly the same. So now that bill comes back to me through the trash hauler instead of through my tax bill. That's $72 a year. So my savings is no savings at all. In fact, it's an extra cost of over $40 a year. So there is no, you can't save money when the people who dispose of the trash didn't change their rates and didn't offer you a discount.
Yes, I'll say one thing in that. I think that's Harlan, I think that's an improper calculation. That's assuming that the private haulers are a zero-based budget entity of the government. I have no idea what the private haulers make, what they pay people for fees, what the CEO makes, or what they pay for their trucks. No idea. So assuming that, just like it's a government entity, that anything you take away from will be put directly onto the, that's up to the private hauler. You have no idea the finances of the private hauler, no idea their profit line, whether they're making money, losing money. I'm not saying they are or aren't, but to make a direct connection that every dollar the town pays goes directly to the taxpayer, and every dollar the town takes away from the private hauler goes directly out of the taxpayer's pocket, is not accurate, because there are multiple private haulers and they charge different prices. So they're not all exactly the same, it's not homogeneous.
I'll say that I agree with you completely,
Yeah.
except you're in the wrong direction. Having run a business for 40 years, I know what costs are. When cost goes up, you have to pass them along. You can't absorb them and plan to stay in business. The sad part of all that is that when CRRA sends the bill to Haddam, you write one check and you're done. Instead, now what you've done is you've gone to a private company who has to worry about sending out bills, collecting money, uncollectibles, posting all the payments. So now when a cost gets passed through, and you've seen contracts and you know how contracts work, when cost gets passed through for extra materials, there's an adder on that to cover all those costs. So actually, I expect that I'm gonna have to pay more than just the pass-through cost because of all the handling costs that private person has to do. And if you folks thought that a huge chunk of expense like this was not gonna get passed through and just absorbed, you have no idea about business and how it works. And it doesn't do any of us any good to see a businessman in town try to absorb that, go out of business, and lose that service. It was an awful decision.
Let me ask you this, Harlan. How much do you think the average private hauler charges in all the surrounding towns per month?
I don't know.
Well, that's a piece of information you should know if you're gonna say
See,
that
this
it's
is-
directly put
Right.
onto the, I don't know it either. So I'm not saying you're saying it's dollar for dollar.
It doesn't matter. I'm
It
not
does
moving
matter.
to another
This
town.
is-
I need
Competition
my-
can
I need
create
my
various
trash.
prices.
Okay, all right,
I
let's,
need my
we don't know.
trash
Right.
picked up in Haddam.
all right,
I don't need it picked
okay,
up
you're
in
right,
Chester.
let's speak specifically about Haddam then. Do you know what the other private hauler who collects trash in Haddam charges per month?
I have not done a survey of private
Right.
haulers.
See, and that's why I think you're speaking about something that you really don't know anything about.
Right.
The board has spent hours doing this, I've spent hours
I
researching.
beg to differ strongly with that statement.
But,
Go ahead.
again, how much does the other private hauler charge in town?
I don't know.
And do we,
Apparently
all right,
you do.
do we pay the other private haulers tipping fee?
I don't know.
Okay, let me answer those questions. The
I'm
other,
assuming you,
yeah,
sure, go ahead.
the other private hauler, and full disclosure, Pete picks up my garbage, and Pete has been a great businessman in town. The other private hauler charges $29 a month with 2 free garbage cans. When you do the survey of all other towns, they're all in that range between $28 and $30. If it's more than that, it's a business model that needs to be changed maybe. We have been absorbing the tipping fees for the private haulers. Only a few private haulers, certain ones, have been picked and chosen over the years, which is also unfair. There was another private hauler that came to Selectmen Bondi to try to get their tipping fees paid for. Selectmen Bondi said no. So there's a lot more behind this than just the fee that your trash will go up per month.
I would offer that I don't care to subsidize the cost of, with all due respect to my neighbors who go to the transfer station, okay? This is an extra cost that's coming to me that We all ought to be treated equally and fairly. If we're not gonna pay tipping fees, I have no issue with that whatsoever. That would include the transfer station. And you recoup that by, you bump the sticker price up to a price that covers the tipping fee. That's fair for everybody. Or you continue to pay for everybody's fee, including, do it all one way or all the other way.
Actually, the tipping fee is paid for through the transfer station stickers. The tipping fee is about $84,000, and we get about that in transfer station sticker fees. So.
Sure, but then that doesn't include any of the other transfer station costs. So
That was voted on again at a town meeting. So, Mark, did you have something?
Well, yeah, and all due respect, Carolyn, because I respect your volunteerism on the Board of Finance for a lot of years. But I had the distinct pleasure and honor of being chair of this particular board and also a member too many years ago. If I understood you correctly, the board throughout the year should not change policy. But I took that, when I was on the board, as a personal challenge, that because generally speaking, people want efficient, effective, and accountable government. And we did everything we could. And I don't see where a change of policy is precedent setting, because I know for a fact when I was on the board that we changed policy. So, secondly, I publicly go on record saying that I have no problem with an increase in the sticker fee. Thank you.
I do want to say that if there's ever a chance that we can save money by renegotiating a bid or anything else, like with the bulky waste, we went from paying $110 a ton to $80. Was I not supposed to go and do that? You know?
This is you did not, let me make it clear, you did not save money by doing this. You transfer the cost from one, whether you expect the trash hauler as Pete to absorb it or whether you expect me to absorb it, in either case, you did not save money. You transferred a cost that the town was paying onto a taxpayer. That's not saving money. If you would have gone to CR, you cut a service, in other words. And cutting a service isn't the same. It might save taxes, but it doesn't save money.
We didn't cut a service. The money that we took out was never being passed on to the customer. So you were actually double paying all these years. If the average price is $28 for a private pickup, $28, $29.
Right.
How much is the tipping fee then, for you? If everybody else,
The
all the other
tipping
private
fee was
haulers.
never included in the price.
Yeah, the tipping fee is
The tipping fee was never
$6 a
included in
ton,
the price
whatever the hell it is.
because the town, through tax dollars, took in that money and gave it directly to CRRA. We never received any monies for disposal of any waste in the town of Haddam. So that monies was not a contract between the town and our company or a contract between CRRA and our company. CRRA billed you directly and you paid them directly. The only reason our name is even on anything to do with that trash is we had to register with CRRA to get into their facility. We have to pay all of the insurance fees, all the coverages, and everything else that has to be done. And and you say, well, I don't know what this is costing this gentleman, but at this point in time, as of the 31st of this month, I need to put up $14,000, which I have to take out of my retirement account to cover 2 months worth of tipping fees, right off in the middle of the thing, right. I don't have $14,000 laying around to just say, here, CRRA, I'm going to give you this. They're going to hold it for as long as I do business with them, and they're not going to pay me any interest on it. So there's $14,000 that I could use to upgrade something in my service that's just going to sit there. I mean,
Well,
you know, and you talk about you talk about, how many other towns did you contact to see what their tipping fees were and their garbage rates?
Many.
Many,
take for-
many like Chester?
Like.
Did you check
all of
Chester?
Chester, I'm sure was one, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well, you should be able to, because,
Killingworth,
because
he's
we're only
had-
talking, well, Killingworth is a totally different situation. Killingworth is a totally different situation, because Killingworth never paid tipping fees
Right.
for any private hauler.
Right.
Never.
No town around here that uses CRA gets their tipping fees.
Did you read did you read your contract that you have with CRRA, that also the prices are going from $63 a ton to $64 a ton July 1st?
Yes.
So you know, to me, it just seems like, I'd like to know where that $18,000 that you've appropriated and taken from the tax dollars for the last 3 months of this year for my company, where's that money gonna go?
It's gonna go back to the taxpayer. I didn't take it from
How's
your
it gonna go
company.
back to the taxpayer? How do you know, because my customers, right, don't use a transfer station, so how do you know to give that money back to them?
Your customers, it's an extra expense that they decide. It's a private contract between you and your customer.
Okay.
And there are other private haulers in town that are able to do it for less. So
Ah,
my
yeah, let me
question
give you a
is-
little, can I ask a question about that?
Okay.
The other private hauler you talk to is Dainty Waste Removal, because he's the only other one that does residential in town.
Right.
Did he say to you, and according to being permitted in this town, you are required to take your trash to Connecticut Resource Recovery?
Yeah, we've spoken
Huh?
to Dainty about that, and
He
they
does
already
not.
have a special deal. They handle their own tipping, correct?
Yes, but he does not. So that, the town is losing out on credit from CRRA for tonnages.
It's already part of the deal. There could be, it's not just a one-horse town. If any other business wants to collect trash
definitely.
in town, they can.
I have no
My
problem with
question
that.
has always been from the beginning, are you passing on the tipping fees that the town has been paying for to your customer?
Yeah, I am paying, I have to. I mean, it's the same thing as when you go into the gas station. The price of gas goes up on Monday morning. When you go in to buy it, you say, hey, wait a minute. Sunday afternoon, the price was 10 cents cheaper. I don't want to buy it now. You know, and that's the way, you know, I don't understand why you picked this point in time to do this, when we only had 3. If you wanted to do it in July, fine. But, you know, the people, the taxpayer has already appropriated that money. They've paid for that money through their taxes and everything else, and they're not getting anything back from it.
And we feel that the taxpayer should not have been paying that, so that money will go back to the town.
Also, I'm supposed to work on a zero budget like the town does.
Your business model is your own business model. We live in a capitalistic society. We don't, we have how many pizza restaurants in town? We don't give $73,000 to a pizza restaurant and say, yeah, just keep it, it's a stipend.
But
As long as you give cheap.
You're talking about something that's been going on since the '70s, that every board of selectmen since the middle '70s has done this, right? So don't blame me because
Oh, I'm not
of the fact
blaming you.
that I have to do this to stay alive. I have to do this to keep my business model going. My business model never had that fee incorporated in it because it never had to be incorporated.
Like I said, when I did the survey of all the other private haulers and all the other towns that also have to provide that special fee to CRRA in order to dump there, they all have to do that. That's not specific to.
But a lot of them don't use CRRA.
Some of them don't, some of them do. The town chose to join CRA a couple of years ago.
Right.
That wasn't a decision that I was able to make. But those other haulers, some of those towns do use CRA, Killingworth for one example. Also, there's Cromwell. Cromwell's another example, actually, and I'll explain the Cromwell one. But the their price for a private hauler per month is the same as yours is now.
What, in
That's the
Cromwell?
Yeah, let's explain
Cromwell
Cromwell.
would be a delightful place to pick up trash, because you drive 50 feet from stop to stop to stop. Haddam is not, and I don't know, I know Pete because, because I know him, because much as you do. I have no interest in his business, and, running his business is his problem, so I'm not here to support Pete. I'm here because I'm not happy with your decision. I want to make that clear. But I also happen to know a little bit about the trash business, and I know that Haddam is not a fun town to get trash. And in fact, if you start to work hard to get more and more competitors in here, it's actually going to get worse and worse, because the mileage between stops is a killer in this town. Mileage between stops in Cromwell is not miles, it's inches. And that's the big cost, that's what kills you. And if you try to encourage 3 or 4 more people to come into town, they'll all kill each other, and the prices will just go up for everybody, because then the miles really stretch out between stops.
I'm not
So
encouraging any other
You need to be
business.
very careful with that.
This was a policy decision that we discussed at length and that we feel strongly about, so.
Can I ask you a question? Did Dainty give you a cost of their tipping fee?
No. Well, they said it's around $14
$14
per customer.
$14 per customer.
But I don't know, they don't go to CRA, so I have no idea what they pay for
Well,
the tipping fee.
The reason they don't pay very much of it, they could just throw any number at you because they own the transfer station. They also own the burn facility.
Right.
So it's kind of a moot point. If they have to go to CRRA and pay the $63 a ton, like I have to, then their rates are going to reflect it too.
What about Essex, Killingworth, Old Lyme, all
Well,
those towns?
you're also talking about eggs and oranges here, right? Those towns don't have transfer stations to deal with.
Killingworth does. and
Well, Killingworth's situation's a
So
little
does
bit
Old
different,
Lyme.
but say Essex and.
They all have transfer stations.
They all have transfer
Yeah,
stations.
yeah.
That's the guy know they didn't have them, but that's okay.
Essex, Old Lyme, Killingworth, every town around here has a transfer
Well,
station.
Essex has a transfer station you have to pay per bag for.
Correct, but they actually this year just instituted $100 for a sticker, and you can throw as much as you want, so.
But also I have another question. And this is probably part of what I wanted to ask about anyhow. In all my looking into this, I can't find a state statute that says that the town can't pay for it. Do you have a number of that state statute?
No, we cannot go with a service or purchase something more than $2,500 without going out to bid. We
But-
can't just choose
but-
one,
But you didn't pay me anything.
right,
You did not pay me. The town paid CRRA.
right.
They did not pay me. I was told 30 years ago to haul garbage to Middletown. Then, when the Middletown facility closed, then they said, you have to go to CRRA. And this is what I've done. I mean, I haven't done anything illegal.
Right.
I've never dumped any other trash at CRRA besides Haddam's trash. So this, I don't understand this contract deal, where it's almost like being accused of being in business.
I want to say something. Our decision was not based on any legal conclusion. We did not make a legal conclusion. We did
Well,
not.
according to the letter I received, there was a state statute
This is
listed
the
that.
bidding process.
That's not what the board voted on. The board did not determine anyone
Well,
was
then the
doing
letter I
anything
received
illegal
from
or anyone was breaking
the
the
first
law.
selectman
Not what we
stated that under state statutes, you guys can't pay that.
voted. The board voted on making a policy decision. That's all we did.
So the article that said there was a state statute involved was incorrect?
No, there is a state statute.
I don't know, I'm
in
just
our
telling you
charter.
what we voted on. We didn't have statutes in front of us, we didn't make a determination of legal or illegal. We didn't.
I guess
We
I'm-
voted a policy, so I don't know about any article or accuracy of
Okay,
anything.
the article indicated that one of the reasons that you needed to make this change was because you were in violation of either, I've forgotten this, of some rule, whether that was a state law or a charter, I don't know. And, okay, again, I guess as a Board of Finance member looking to be informed, can you explain that to me?
We have no control over the cost of what a private hauler charges. And there's nothing to say, like, going back to the Cromwell example. All Waste charges their people in Cromwell, their customers, $16 a pickup because they pay the tipping fee because they don't have a transfer station in Cromwell. So they at least have more control over, if we had gone out to bid to choose one specific private hauler, we would have asked them to charge a certain amount for a customer if the town is expending the money to tip their garbage. When we voted to how to figure out a way to get rid of our refuse, which is our transfer station, that was the choice that we made. If we wanted to go with Pete as a private hauler instead of the transfer station, which was one of the choices, we would have done things in a different way. And there is a bid statute.
So far, I guess that I understand all that, except I don't understand what that has to do with the change you just made. And the article indicated that the reason, one of the reasons, or the reason you made the change was because what you were currently doing was in violation of state law, I think is what the article said, but maybe.
State statute.
And so far, you haven't told me any, matter of fact, I think Sean's told me there aren't any state statutes.
No,
laws.
There is a state statute.
I said, yeah, I'm not saying there are or aren't, that was not part of our decision of
If
the
I
Board
may
of
ask,
Selectmen.
wouldn't it be a reasonable thing to understand clearly the statutes before you start making changes in policy of a budget that's already been passed?
The policy wasn't made on the state statute alone. That wasn't why we made the policy. This was a policy decision for the benefit of all the taxpayers in town,
But
not just one private entity.
okay. It's not my benefit, I'll just repeat that
Yeah.
one last time, okay? If somehow we're missing that, I guess, it's not my benefit, so.
I have another question. Seeing that this policy has been changed, and I have no longer to deal with the town does not pay anything anymore towards the operation of my company, tipping fees, anything else. I'm free to find the best deal for a tipping fee for my customers other than CRRA.
It depends on if the town decides to license private haulers, that's a different
Well, we're already
discussion.
licensed.
I wasn't able to find anything licensed actually in the town clerk's office, so I need to
Jane-
research that a
Jane
little bit more.
Blau. Jane Blau licensed us when she was selectwoman.
So if they're a licensed hauler in the town, then you would have to bring to CRRA.
But then again, that takes away free enterprise. If I can find some other place for my customer to get a better deal on its tipping fee, you can't tell me I have to go there just because of, in other words, all the town is required to by state law is to provide a site for its final disposal of trash, correct?
Which is CRRA,
Well,
yeah,
be it whoever.
right,
But you as an entity
right,
have entered into an agreement with them.
right.
And you tell everybody you have to follow the rules. Well, if I follow the rule and the other hauler that works in town doesn't follow the rule, don't you think you should pull his license?
I don't even know who has a license for what, because I was not able to find anything in the town clerk's office. I mean, maybe because it was so long ago. And that's something that the board will have to
That's a
discuss.
very interesting point.
Dainty
Yeah.
has a special deal supposedly with CRA that I don't know anything
No,
about.
they don't take
So-
any of their trash to CRA.
No, I know. What I'm saying is were somehow exempt from doing that, so.
Well, they're not exempt from it, they've been banned from doing business with CRRA because of threats to the management of
I don't know anything about that.
CRRA.
Garbage business isn't friendly. Go ahead.
Well, it's not friendly. Oh, it is friendly. I'm sitting here amongst friends.
Well, you're friendly. The whole
But,
garbage business.
you know, the whole thing of it is you can't do one thing for one person and one thing for another. If you're gonna do this, it's gotta be across the board, equal, everybody gets the same shake.
And that's something that the board will have to discuss, because again, I couldn't find any license information anywhere.
Could maybe, you rushed into this decision without bad decision, bad timing on the decision, just incredible.
I
bad.
disagree.
I'll say it.
Go ahead, Mark, did you want?
The only license that I know of is a vendor's license. So if you were to pick up trash, or you're gonna sell hot dogs or in the corner, or whatnot, might need a vendor's license, but a specific trash hauling license, I don't know if we've ever.
Back when, excuse me, Mark, but back when Jane was first selectwoman, Jane Blau was first selectwoman, they had a dump study committee at that point in time, and we went through all of the ordinances and everything that had to be set up for everybody, and we were required to send in to the town, apply for a license to operate in town, which I did. I sent a letter to Jane, we were applying for a license, please tell us how much money the permit is gonna cost, or the license is gonna cost, all of that. She sent a letter back to me that said there's no cost for this license, because of something to do with the DEP wanting to keep track of haulers. The town had to license whoever was working in the town at the time. And I got license number 1, as far as I know.
Yeah, there wasn't anything that I could find there. There is a law that the towns need to license, but again, I never found anything in the town office building, so we'll continue, we'll have that discussion again. Yeah. Yeah, Ed.
One comment over here again. This tipping fee deal affects a lot of people in town, probably more than half of the people in town. So there are people who use the transfer station who also use a private hauler. So it affects a tremendous number of people in town. Clearly, there are a lot of issues around this whole process of the decision that has been made by the Board of Selectmen. I think that we should, when you have a decision which is going to affect so many people and which is so complex regarding Dainty maybe hauling to their own plant, whereas everybody else has to haul to CRA, whatever, there really needs to be an informational public hearing to sort out the issues and understand the impact on all persons and all entities involved. To do this unilaterally in the middle of a budget year is just clearly an inappropriate thing to do.
Well, we feel otherwise. We did a lot of research on this. It was not a unilateral, and we did do everything out in the open. We've been open and transparent. Everything was done in a public meeting.
Excuse me. I have a question to ask. Why wasn't I invited to any of these discussions?
It was a policy decision. We don't always invite. The meetings are open and posted.
I mean,
We didn't invite,
it was a simple phone call, say, hey, Pete, we're thinking about doing this. How about coming to the meeting and listening and seeing, listen to what we're up to?
I wish I could do that for all sorts of residents and call them and say if I think that they're interested in something. This was a decision we made during the budget process, and then at a Board of Selectmen meeting, it was on the agenda. So, yeah.
I guess I'm gonna have to sit in more selectmen's meetings then, huh?
Yeah.
You're gonna see this face every week then,
I
every
would
2
love
weeks.
to see more people at the Selectmen's meetings. I've been to going to the Selectmen meeting for 7 years, and nobody goes to Selectmen meetings, so it would be great to see people come back. Anybody else?
I have a comment. I've been following this since I was on the Board of Finance, and Harlan will remember, and there's been something that's been bothering me for a long time, this tipping fee that the town is paying for a private business in town, and it's nothing personal. But when we were talking about it at the Board of Finance, we kind of had the idea that somehow this tipping fee was taxpayer money that would go back to the taxpayer by getting a good rate from the trash hauler. I also looked at the different towns in the area. They all have private haulers, and they also have the transfer stations. But the prices are very similar to yours. So to me, what it tells me is that that tipping fee was not giving back to the taxpayer. And I have no control. I don't know. I don't know your finances, or the Board of Finance member. I cannot ask for your finances. So I don't know how that compares. It's your business model. And like the first selectman said, this is a capitalistic society. You have to compete with other people. And the bottom line is that if the town is going to give $80,000 or $100,000 to one private, by the fact I pay the tipping fee and, paying the tipping fee for that private hauler, and doesn't know where that money, if that money is being transfer or not. Since the rate is exactly the same as the other towns where those guys pay their tipping fee. So it tells me that it's not going back to the, or your business is not efficient enough, one of the two.
No,
And that's not my problem, that's a capitalistic society problem. You have to compete
Right.
and be more efficient.
I understand that, but the whole thing is everybody keeps saying, I'm getting paid. I have never, ever,
I don't say.
in 30 years
No,
that I've been in business,
of course not.
received a check from the town of Haddam for disposal
Of
fees.
course not.
It's between the town of Haddam
That's
and
right.
Connecticut Resource Recovery.
That's correct,
And it's been that way
right,
forever.
that's correct.
But you can't take my business model and say, well, hell, you know, he's charging $28, that guy over there's charging $28. That guy may have 1,400 or 1,500 customers that he has to drive around for to pick up, correct?
In Essex?
I have 900.
Right,
So out of my 900 customers, I still have to travel the whole entire town to do 900 customers at an expense.
that's right.
So, you know, and when we're told, don't worry about a tipping fee, it's going to be taken care of through tax dollars. The town collects it, the town pays it out. It doesn't pay the private hauler.
No, but it allows him to charge as much as a competitor who has to pay the tipping fee, who has to cover so many miles.
Well, you're also talking about, you know, a completely different thing. You're talking about a fellow that owns his own transfer station. If I owned my own transfer station, I could do it a lot cheaper too.
The other towns, though.
Other towns, I'm talking about this particular
Not
one.
Dainty, not just Dainty.
But
All the other
we're
towns.
talking about Haddam, we're not talking about all the other towns.
Yes,
This is
similar
what I
towns.
can't understand. You're throwing numbers out from all other towns, but we're discussing what goes on in the town of Haddam.
But it's not a special town compared to Killingworth or Essex or Deep River. They
No.
still have miles, they still have customers, and their price is similar to yours. So I feel, as a taxpayer who uses a transfer station, that I'm subsidizing you, not the customer, because I don't think they're gonna get back, because they pay the same price as somebody in Essex.
I think if it's public comment, if you have a public comment, direct it to the Board of Selectmen. If you have a public comment, direct it to the Board of Selectmen. You shouldn't be arguing with each other.
Well, I'm not arguing with you.
You're not. I mean, you should, if you have a comment, make a comment.
I'm done.
Don't give it to me.
Yeah, I'm just making a statement, but,
Anybody else have anything else? Okay, tax refunds. Okay, Julian Vitale, overpayment of motor vehicle, $78.66. Estate of Edith Sibley, care of Jane, James, and Jonathan Sibley. Overpayment of property tax, $30 even. David Labella and Virginia Ingram, overpayment of the property, real estate, $7.36. Catherine Mary Traceski, overpayment of motor vehicle supplement, $19.89. Loretta, well, it's for Dominic Posamato, but it says attention central refunds, Loretta. So it's for real estate, $5,958.50. That's it. David Platt. Motor vehicle supplement, overpayment, $86.52. And Adele Ratska, this is motor vehicle, overpayment, $38.98. Diana Norbert Bavasso, estate of Norman Norbert and Sally Norbert. Overpayment of real estate, $242.60. I'll make a motion that we accept the tax refunds. All in favor?
Aye.
Resignations, we did get a resignation from Lucille Silvestrini is resigning from the Board of Finance seat. So we will send a letter back to the Board of Finance for them to choose their choice, to give us a list of names of their alternates of the same party. Lucille was a Republican seat, so. We'll send that to them. Appointments, we have, Phil and I have looked at the transfer station attendant position, and we have chosen Michael Morehouse. He is on 14 Old Ponset Road in Haddam as our floater transfer station position, to be paid at $16 an hour. So,
On an as-needed basis.
yeah, on an as-needed basis, yeah. I'll make a motion that we hire Michael Morehouse for the transfer station position. All in favor? It's out of Phil's transfer station
Yeah.
budget.
Yeah, he said he had that for the.
Yeah.
The storms.
Yeah. Just in case any of the other guys who are there are sick. All in favor?
Aye.
I also have another appointment that I just added today. Ian Gibson, Wellstone Farm, would like to be on our energy task force. So he would be a great addition, and he also is interested in an environmental task force too in the future. So I will make a motion that we appoint Ian Gibson to the energy task force. All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Okay. Reports, the animal control officer, Dawn, continues to give very detailed reports, 4 pages long. So I'll spare you the grimy details, but she's very diligent in her job, and we thank her for all her hard work. Resident trooper, there was one, embezzlement issue, but nothing else out of the ordinary. One larceny, but, and actually I just heard the other night that there was a robbery at the American Oil, this was called, gas station on 154, but I did not get a report yet from that, so I don't know what they took.
This one down in
cigarettes.
Tylenol?
No, the other one, the one on,
Used to be Jasper's.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Cigarettes I heard was taken, but nothing else specific. Municipal agent for the elderly. Mark, did you want to talk about it since you're here, or?
Well,
Or the exercise
no,
class too?
I just had a couple of interesting things to add to my report, which you all got. If you want me to read it, I'll be glad to, but I just wanted to add that Haddam Public Health Fuel Bank has helped 29 families this winter for an average of $360, and they're broke and they need help financially for the fuel bank.
Okay.
And then secondly, we've got a new 9-town transit pamphlet, and I don't have official numbers, but anecdotal is that it's very successful, especially now picking up riders on Route 81.
Yeah, their ridership has increased. I went to a meeting down there a couple weeks ago, and they said exponentially it's picked up in Haddam, so it's exciting. Yeah.
And the last thing is, next Tuesday, I'll be going to state training on the state renters rebate program. The governor put it back in the budget, and it's hopefully that the monies will pass. We don't know, but we're going to be taking in applications before the budget is passed. So
Great,
I guess they're pretty confident it will.
great.
I want to ask you about the exercise class, is that on?
Oh, yes.
You mentioned parking. What you said, Mike?
Did you get copies of this?
No, I got copies of that, but not the others.
Here, I
Yes,
got,
you did?
I got that.
The trooper one?
The
They
trooper,
always-
the trooper and the other one.
Okay, yeah, we can get your
I
copies.
saw
I
you.
apologize for not
The
mentioning that.
exercise thing? The exercise
No,
program?
the
I got
trooper's
the
report.
exercise.
Oh, everybody should have gotten it. I gave it, I gave
I
it to
got
them.
that.
I noticed you said you were gonna approach Park and Rec.
Well, I don't have, when I wrote, as of that writing, I had no idea how many people were gonna be signed. At the point, there was 4 people. We now have 13 interested people. And so, we're trying to keep the costs low. What we're basically doing is mirroring what exactly is happening in Killingworth on Tuesdays and Thursdays. As a matter of fact, because we're starting on Wednesday and Friday, some of those same people from the Killingworth classes are also going to be joining us in Haddam. So there's some exercise buffs, I guess you could say. And I haven't counted any of those people into the 13. However, the lady charges $35 a session, or a total of $70. Therefore, if 13 were regulars, it would pay for probably half. And so what I was going to, and I've been telling everyone, that we have funding available in this year's budget to carry through June. And so therefore, we're going to try to make it self-sustaining, and we're going to give it to June to do that, and then look real close and hard as to what we do in the future. It's taken me too long, unfortunately, to get someone. But now that I can pay someone to do this kind of work, it opened up someone interested.
Good. Thank you.
I don't have any old business unless you guys have something. Okay. We have credit that we got here from the State of Connecticut Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection for our Valley Shore and KX services. And the credit is based on our population. It's $2,509.20 is our credit for 14-15 year, based on a population of 8,364. So I will make the motion that we accept this credit, $2,509.20.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Steve. Okay. And then the new Alliance of Haddam Artists sent us a letter.
Excuse me, Missy?
Yep.
There's another one for the CDE,
Oh, I thought so.
one for Colchester Emergency.
Oh, yes, this is the small one. I was looking for this. Okay, Colchester, so that was just for Valley. Colchester is $180, based on a population of 600. So I'll make a motion to accept $180. All in favor? Thank you. Okay, Alliance of Haddam Artists was formed a couple of years ago, and they had a smashing success at their first event. And Ed Rosado is actually putting together the group a little bit more in an organized fashion, and he's looking for our support as a board, just to say that we approve of their artist group. I think it's great. They have, I don't know if he says how many, but he did come into the office and said he has quite a few people that are really interested. And there's no age minimum or maximum. So I don't know if you want to talk any more about it, Mark, if you have anything else.
It was one of the ripple effects, a side benefit of the 350th anniversary art show that we put on. And this is all artists that showed there. There's every medium you can think of. And they do meet at the Senior Center on the third Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And it looks like it's off and running.
Yeah, really exciting. They're, of course, looking for money. So If they want to be, if you want to be a principal sponsor, it's $100. Co-sponsor is $25. They're also looking to the local banks. Liberty Bank donated some money. And if you want to do an individual membership, it's $5. So we can keep our eyes out, pass the word about this if you guys know any artists. And I'll post this on Facebook and stuff too, so. All right.
Excuse me, Melissa.
Yep.
I think what he was looking for is a letter of support from the Board of Finance for the group.
Board of Selectmen.
I'm sorry, Board of Selectmen for the group.
Just to say we.
Just to say that you
We're
support
supportive.
this group, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're funding the group.
Okay, yeah, we can, I can write something up if you guys want me
Well, it
to.
shouldn't say that.
Go ahead and write a letter.
Okay,
Go
okay.
ahead, write a letter.
It's just one more activity that occurs under the senior banner.
Well, right now, there's a majority of seniors that are members,
There's no age limit.
but it's certainly not open to only seniors.
You guys have anything else?
For public comment?
Yeah, no, but I didn't know if you.
No.
Okay, public comments again?
Yes, I'm here to promote yet another organization
Well, you get a
that
round.
we've started up, and that is called the Haddam Bicycle Cruisers. It's going to be a touring group. I've helped organize it. They already have a Facebook page under that name, and I have email addresses. The only involvement I am going to have as municipal agent is where their kickoff meet and greet is going to be on April 13th, Sunday morning at 9 a.m. at the Senior Center. And they're going to be a private organization. If they needed to meet, generally they meet at they agree on a site to go, and they email or on Facebook, they'll give out the route. So the Sunday morning, April 13th, 9 a.m., it's going to just be a kickoff meet and greet, and then there's a couple of small tours, 10 miles or less, that they're going to throw out and see if they wanted to do it then. But from that point on, or after that Sunday morning, I'm out of it, until I can ride a bike like they can.
Great, well, that's exciting too. Anybody else want to add anything else? Ed?
I noted that you said earlier that you received a resignation from the City of Silver Spring. You did not point out that you received a letter recommending Joe Santafonte to fill the seat that Lucille was vacating. It seems to me that it's in the best interest of the town, particularly because we're in the midst of a budget cycle right now, to make sure that Joe Santafonte has that, is appointed to that seat. Once he is appointed to that seat as a full member of the Board of Finance, he would then resign, and we could fill the seat of the alternate. By delaying, as you are right now doing, that decision, it's not in the best interest of the town, because the Board of Finance will not be working with a full board. And so I don't know whether you can still make that decision to go ahead and appoint him. You've gotten a letter, first of all, as an email, and then you had a written letter provided tonight as well. So I don't understand why it is you've not taken action on that appointment tonight.
There's a process in our charter where we needed to be notified by the town clerk. So the person who was resigning would resign with the town clerk. The town clerk would then notify the selectmen. The selectmen would then accept the resignation, notify the Board of Finance of the vacancy, which obviously they already know of. But there's a process that we have to go through. And the Board of Finance isn't working with one less person, because you would appoint the alternate to the full position for that specific meeting.
So we're missing an alternate, though.
Correct.
Surely you see that point.
Yes, yes, and we are following the charter and the process of appointing somebody to the Board of Finance.
Can I add something to that, Ed? The statute requires the Board of Finance to appoint that full member, and recommend it to the Board of Selectmen, and then only at that point can they vote on that full position. They can't do it until the Board of Finance take a vote to appoint that person.
But I'm not
Board of
necessarily
Selectmen-
following that advice, so,
I'm sorry?
just I'm asking you, so you're saying we cannot vote to appoint him tonight?
No, we have to accept, the Board of Finance actually has to send us their choice.
Well, you had a letter, you had an email on March 10th
It's not from the Board of Finance.
notifying you of both the resignation and the recommendation. There's been multiple Board of Finance meetings between now and then. Failing to go through the process that you wanted to, had you moved along this thing when you could
We
have,
couldn't have.
you could have now be appointing tonight.
No, we couldn't have done that. If you followed the process in the charter, the town clerk has to notify the selectmen, which is this was our first meeting since since we all received the email of her resignation. And then we follow the process from there. Mark?
I can only speak for 6 years that I spent on the Board of Selectmen. And I think what Mr. Munster is suggesting, that you change your policy or something, because we had always worked it the way you had planned on doing it.
You know,
Worked it.
Notifying the body that
Yeah.
that person was appointed to.
right, that's the way
That's-
we've done it in the past, is that you
Right.
get a letter from the party to which the person resigned and reappointed. So this will be different than I've done in the past, but I'm not saying anyone's right or wrong.
No, this is the normal way. You have to receive
You're the
the,
first, I mean,
yeah.
you're the first.
Well, I
you set
read the
agenda.
charter. No, it's
No,
the
I'm not
charter, it's
disagreeing.
not my role.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing, I'm saying you set the agenda, it's not the agenda, I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
No, again, it's a state statute for the Board of Finance only. All the other boards, you could do it directly. The Board of Finance has to recommend to the Board of Selectmen which alternate they want to put up, and they have to take a vote.
Right,
They can't take a vote until you
right.
accept the
That's what I'm saying,
resignation.
the email was not
That's
from the
right.
Board of Finance, so.
That's the way it goes.
We've done it differently in the past, that's fine. Yeah.
The letter was from me. So what you're saying is, so that the recommendation doesn't come from the Haddam Republicans, it comes
No.
from the Board of Finance
Yeah.
votes on who
Yeah,
gets that position?
yeah.
Correct.
The charter's on the town website if anybody wants.
The statute
It
is,
just, that is correct per the charter. I think maybe where part of the confusion came in, and frankly, I was confused, because at the Board of Finance meeting that you were at just a couple days ago, I said, when are you guys gonna make this appointment? And you said, well, we haven't met yet, we'll do it this.
No, I said, well,
coming
yeah, right, we'll start with the
So-
process.
Well, okay.
That's something I hope
But you
that
can
all
see it,
board
right?
members,
Maybe you confused me.
I hope all board members do read their own specific section of the charter pertaining to them,
The
which means
charter
the Board
does,
of Finance.
yes, the charter does say the Board of, as you said, the Board of Finance selects.
So it's really
one
no
of
point
our
for a letter to come from the chair of the Haddam Republicans.
Not for the
recommend-
Board of Finance, right?
Yeah.
Although I'm not clear how it's handled to appoint the replacement alternate.
Yeah, that
I
you
think
can
that comes
submit a
from-
list
You can sit in,
of
That
of
comes
names.
from the.
Harlan, you can sit him.
Oh, yeah, yes, yeah.
So he's not
We-
being
we will-
excluded from the
No,
meeting.
we'll charge ahead and we'll still be working. I think the problem is that the Board of Finance has always, just as tradition, not due to
Okay.
charter or statute, has always let alternates be a very active part of the discussion, even though they don't get a vote.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have that full alternate there to be part of this budget process, which means it'd be nice to move this whole thing on.
Agreed, but again, we're stuck with the rules of the charter, so, and when we review the charter, that might be something that we look into, but I do believe it's also a state statute, too, so. Bob? No, now you're up.
Oh. I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you guys for coming.
Which one is it? Just one.
Yes, yeah, you don't